So, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming. Hope some people will join. I'm Katerina. I'm working at Standuply. We're organizing this online events for Agile community, for Scrum community, and we invite coaches and speakers. So today we have invited Anu and her partner Kate, and we're gonna speak. We're gonna listen about meetings, and so yeah, please.
Thank you very much, Katerina, and thank you for having us. So we are wanting to introduce you to a technique for having effective meetings, and it's something called Ready, Run, Reflect. So quick introductions for those of you we've not met before. My name is Kate Megaw. I'm the CEO of Arclight Agile and the co-founder of Team Katana. Trainer and coach based out on the West Coast in Los Angeles, despite my British accent, just to confuse everyone.
Hey everyone, my name is Smalley. I am the CEO of Kapoli Consulting and co-founder of Team Katana. Trainer, coach. I am based in Atlanta, and as we were just talking before a few of you joined, Kate's burning up and I'm freezing. So welcome to our session. And Kapil, you were asking about Team Katana, interesting name. So the name is a mix of Kate and Anu. It's Kate, Anu, Katana, right? So we merged our two names to form our company names. So welcome to Team Katana.
So our agenda today is, first of all, we want to kick off with why it's important to have effective meetings. We have some data for you on that. And then we're going to touch briefly on the Ready, Run, Reflect. But the bit we're going to do a deep dive into in our short session today is the run bit of it. But we need all three of these bits to have effective meetings. So when we're talking about the importance of effective meetings, I found this article recently, and it's from Microsoft Research, and the link is here. We'll PDF the slides after, and they'll be available on our website, so you can pull them down afterwards. But this article identified the top 5 obstacles to productivity. So they're slightly hard to read, so I put them in here. So the top obstacle to productivity was having ineffective meetings. The second was not having clear goals. The third was having too many meetings. The fourth was feeling uninspired, and the fifth, not easily finding the information we need. So 2 of the top 5 obstacles to productivity are related to meetings. So regardless of your role, whether you're a project manager, a scrum master, a product owner, a manager, a team leader, or a team member, or just someone who's fed up being in unproductive meetings, we're hoping to share some techniques with you over the next 30 minutes.
So designing the meeting, designing the event, we have 3 parts of designing a meeting. This is completely opposite to we hope the meeting goes well. Hope is not a good strategy. So we want to make sure as facilitators, you are focused on preparing for the meeting. So there are 3 parts of this, right? Ready, what do you need to do before the meeting? We're not going to dig too much into this, although we do have a complete framework of what you do in Ready. There is the run, what you do during the meeting. We want to focus on that in this session. And then there's the reflect. Even after the meeting, as a facilitator, you do still have some things to do, some things to follow up on. So the approach is let's do the ready, the run, and the reflect. So the first bit of the ready, we'll just talk about a very high level on the ready part, is when you're looking at the ready, the big thing here is remember to focus on the who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? So who needs to be at this meeting? Make sure the right people are in the meeting and the wrong people are not in the meeting, right? Make sure the people who need to make decisions are there. So we don't have a meeting to plan the meeting, so we make a decision. What are we going to talk about? What are the outcomes we want out of this meeting? What are you hoping to walk away from? If you don't have an outcome, a desired outcome, you're never going to know if the meeting was actually effective. So you need to know, what are you going to focus on? When are you going to do it? Don't just go say, I'm free at 10 a.m., let me book at 10. If you want Kate, Jack, and Kapil and Caitlin to be in the meeting, make sure those 4 people are available, and don't assume that your meeting is the most important meeting for them. It may not be, right? If you need them, make sure they're available. If it means you talk to them, figure it out. Make sure they're all the who you need to be there are able to attend. Why are you having this meeting? Is this really a meeting, or, as Kate says, could you have done this in an email? Did you really need 10 people to sit around for an hour to figure out this was an email? Right? So figure out, why are you doing this? What is the purpose of this meeting? Where is as important for a facilitator? Is this in person? Is this virtual? If it's virtual, are you going to use a virtual collaboration tool? If it's in person, do you have a room booked? Logistics are important. The worst thing you can do as a facilitator is not be prepared with the logistics for your meeting. And finally, how? How are you
מאי,
going?
אני לא יוצאת בסוף.
Oops.
אין לי עצבים.
We mute. Thank you.
Go.
And then how are we going to run this meeting, right? This is where we talk about the roles. Am I the facilitator? Is Kate the note person? Is Katerina the timekeeper? Who's going to lead what part of it? So how are we actually going to do it? You need to have all of this before the meeting starts, before you invite people in, because you need to put most of this into your agenda that you send out to people with the meeting invite. So there's a lot to do in the ready, but we want to get into the meat of the meeting, so we'll get into the run.
So now that we've set the foundation with the ready, when we talk about run, we talk about 5 different steps. I'm just going to talk about these briefly because we're going to deep dive into them in a minute. So the first thing we're doing is we're opening the meeting. We're starting with a clear introduction. We're setting the stage. Then we're exploring, we're facilitating open discussions. We're evaluating, we're helping the team make sense of the data that we've collected or the discussion that needs to happen. The execute part of it is making sure we're reaching agreements or conclusions, and then we need to close the meeting. So 5 different parts of running. This is you as a facilitator guiding through the meeting.
And then after the meeting, we call it reflect, but these are the things that you need to do after the meeting. As a facilitator, your job does not end when the meeting ends. You've still got to document meeting notes if there are meeting notes to be documented. This includes things like, so what do you do with the meeting notes? Are you emailing them, putting them on some place where people can access it? One of the things that I discovered as part of Zoom, and it was just blew my mind with AI stuff now, was I used to take notes like, oh, Kate said this, and Kapil said this, and Dave said this. Then I realized that Zoom has an AI companion that'll take my notes for me. But a quick tip, when you do that, make sure before you hit send to all, do a quick review of the notes and clean it up just a tad bit, because we had a meeting and we were talking about Scrum, and the AI companion decided it was going to remove the R. And everywhere it said, we are going to do Scrum. So, check the notes. AI is as good as it can get, but check your notes, and oftentimes you may have to clean things up. So clean it, get the documents out. What action items have people agreed to take? You still own them, even though somebody else has to do the action. You shall have to follow up and say, hey, Alina, you said you were going to do this thing by Monday. It's Monday. Do you need my help? How are we doing? How can I help you? Just because they said, I'm going to do this, doesn't mean your job is done, right? And then finally, close it all out. Send out a thank you note, send out a, hey, this is the follow-up things, this is where we are, or we have a follow-up meeting, whatever you need to do. Make sure you do not forget the reflect. This is the one part. So people focus heavily on the ready sometimes and forget the run and reflect. But oftentimes reflect is the one that's forgotten all the time. Meeting's done, I'm done, bye-bye, see ya. Don't forget the reflect.
So let's look at ready then in more detail. So 5 different parts of
run.
Sorry, run, beg your pardon. Just checking everyone was awake. Nobody is except Anu. So
I'm awake.
Looking at the run part, so the 5 different steps. So the first step when we come into a meeting is we open the meeting. So several different ways to open the meeting. You could say, give me one word that describes, if you're doing, for example, a sprint retrospective, give me one word that describes the last sprint for you. If you are doing a monthly check-in with your team, what was your high from the last month? Give me one word that describes your week. Maybe if we're looking at a team meeting on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think we did as a team over the past month? We're setting the scene, we're connecting the team with the content to some extent. This is where we're going to confirm, okay, here's our agenda. Our agenda is visible. Hopefully we're using Lucid or some tool so that we have a visual agenda and people are seeing the agenda. If we're in person, it's up in post-it notes on the wall. If it's remote, it's in our electronic tool and we're sharing it and we're moving stuff to in progress and done. Hopefully we have a timer available that's counting down to keep everyone focused. But we're opening, we're setting the scene, we're reviewing the agenda, we're reflecting on, remember, this is the purpose and this is the goal of our meeting. Back to what Anu talked about with our ready, let's make sure that we're all on the same page and keep each other focused. So that's our goal, is to connect everyone, get everyone into the room, set the stage. And once we've got people talking, it's easier to keep them talking. So if we do a question like, if the last month was a car, what type of car would it be? Anything that we can do to get the team talking makes the rest of this meeting go so much better. So the first step is open the meeting.
Yeah, one of the first facilitating tips I learned in a class about 20 years ago was, when you bring people into a room, within the first 5 minutes, get them all to talk. If they talk within the first 5 minutes, they are going to be more open to talking for the rest of the meeting. If you're the only one talking for the first 5 minutes, guess who's going to be talking the rest of the meeting? So, and that will not be lots of fun for you or for the people attending, right? Step number 2 is explore. This is, so we've talked about, Kate started off with, hey, if this was a retrospective, one word to describe the sprint, right? And you do the word. Now this is our idea to, let's collect some ideas. Now, the most common one that I've seen is, what went well? What didn't go well? What will you do different? When you do a boring design like that, you're gonna get responses like, everything was great, nothing was bad, I have no good ideas, nothing to change. If you get flat answers like that, it's not because people are not thinking, it's because your design is not getting their juices flowing. Designing a meeting is very important. You got to find an approach that resonates with your team, right? So you've heard of the sailboat. Anybody's heard about the sailboat approach when you do meetings, right? So if it's a sailboat, you have the sails, things that move you forward. You have the anchor, things that hold you down. You have the island in the distance, which is your ideas And then you can have the sun and the sky to give you the, the ideas, and the island is your goal. Kate and I were working with a client. They work with the aviation industry, right? So our design was, let's imagine your planes. What helps your planes take off? What grounds your planes? What is going to get you stuck in those storm clouds? So the ideas that you use to collect thoughts from your team has to be something that resonates with them. If your team is working on software, find something that resonates. I had one team that they were all Star Wars fans. So we created a Star Wars related theme to get them to think about, so who are your Jedis who are going to help you forward? Who's Darth Vader who's going to kill all of you if you don't watch out? And, it was, how do you get them to think outside the box?
And the
What's
new,
good and not good always doesn't juice up the brain.
yeah, and building off that, your example for making it relevant to the team, we were working with a retail company at the end of last year, and a virtual team, and they had every team, the marketing team, the product team, they'd all been researching and coming up with different ideas, but nobody knew what the other teams were doing. So we were facilitating a team meeting at the end of the year for all of the different teams to come together, explain a bit about what they've been working on, and prioritize what were 2 or 3 products that we wanted to focus on in the new year. So working to, we were using murals. We got mural ready for each of the teams so that they would come in. They were given a link to make sure they could get into murals. So part of our ready, everyone had the tools and things like that. And then when we got into the meeting, we opened it with what was the favorite thing that we released this year. So that was our open. And then our explore was each team went into their own breakout rooms and created just a quick board, a quick area and mural of all the things they'd been working on. And then when we came back to the main room, each team had 5 minutes to talk through what they've been working on. So it was a really good way, even in a virtual environment, to make sure it was interactive and we were getting ideas from everyone. The one key thing we did here when we were looking at the agenda was the C-level executive used to jump in first and anchor the conversation. And Anu knows what we're talking about. Anchor the conversation, and then people would not give ideas. So the agenda was set up so that the executive welcomed people to the meeting. The facilitator then took over and got people into breakout rooms and back and debriefed. And it meant the ideas came up from the team, and the C-level executive didn't anchor them. So when you're gathering ideas from people, look at different formats to do it, and look at different ways. If you have people who are going to anchor or drive the conversation and maybe shut others down, look at having the agenda designed accordingly.
So this is where the ready part comes in as well, right? So how are you going to run the meeting? So this is where the designing part, you spend a lot of time on this. Because if your team loses any faith that you can facilitate a C-level person in the room, you're going to get zipped from them, right? They're going to come in and say, what went well? Everything was great. Any problems? Nope. And that does not help you to help them. So, Kate, talk about the 3 pigs, 3 little pigs. I think that's a great example of a technique to explore ideas.
Yeah, so I often use the 3 little pigs when I'm getting a team together to look at what they're doing. What is it that they do really well as a team? What is it they struggle with, and what really isn't good as a team? So for any of you who've heard the story, the 3 little pigs, so the pigs have a house and the fox is trying to blow the house down. So as a team, what does your team do that is like the brick house? What does your team do that is solid and it's not blowing down? There's a gale force wind, trouble's hitting all over the place, and that building is not coming down. So what does your team do that is rock solid? And then I would have that either in Mural or Lucid or up on the wall if people are there in person. Everyone's adding their own post-it notes. As a facilitator, I'm not the scribe. Everyone is adding their own post-it notes to the board. And then the second one is, what do we do that is okay, but if there's a strong wind, it's coming down? So what do we do that's our house of sticks? So not particularly steady, not particularly bad, but if there's a strong wind or something goes wrong, that's collapsing around us. And then the third category is, what is our house of straw? What is one puff from that fox or wolf bringing down? So what do we really not do well? And last time we did it, we took it a step further and we said, okay, who is the big bad wolf? What are the roadblocks and the dangers we need to be aware of for our team? So it can be used for multiple different meetings, but it's a very good way to have people think about really good, okay, not so good. What are the dangers we need to be aware of?
Yeah.
So, and Anu leads nicely into the evaluate. And this is making sure that we are facilitating discussions. We talked under explore about, as a facilitator, we are not there to add everyone's post-it notes. We are not the scribe. We are also not there to read everyone's post-it notes. One of the pieces of advice I always give facilitators is, if you didn't write the post-it note, you shouldn't be moving it and you shouldn't be talking about it, because that is what you are there to pull from other people throughout the meeting. So you've encouraged people to put things up on the wall. And then if we are using the pigs example, I may say, okay, we've got a lot of things under the solid house. What are some of the things that we do really well? And I'm encouraging people to talk about them. And then maybe I'm going to, well, what are some of the things that we don't do as well? What do we see on the board? Maybe I get to what are the things we do badly, and the elephant in the room nobody wants to talk about. So maybe I say for this one, okay, we're going to debrief this category slightly different. I'm going to ask you to read a post-it note that you did not add to the board. So that by encouraging people to read someone else's post-it notes, I'm encouraging the discussion to keep going. So your job as a facilitator is to, in the evaluate, is to make sure everybody's voice is heard. If you have a remote meeting and 6 people have got their hands up, you're stacking them. You're saying, okay, so Katerina's going to go, and then Anu's going to go, and then Jack's going to go. We're stacking them so that people know their hands have been seen and they'll get their turn to talk. If you've got somebody that's particularly quiet, how can you pull them in? Maybe I can say, okay, Anu, it looks like you're a little puzzled there. What's going on for you? So we're wanting to make sure that all voices are heard. And one of the key things you need to make sure and evaluate is that we have psychological safety. If you are wanting the team to participate, they've got to feel safe in doing so. They've got to feel that nobody's going to say that's a stupid idea or shut it down. Anu, do you want to talk about the yes but and yes and for a minute?
Yeah, yes, and
Good. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So this is a technique that you as a facilitator should utilize and teach. We all do, we hear an idea, we go, oh, yeah, but. So what happens when you all hear the word but? Think about it. Think about it in your own head. If you said something to me and I said, oh, Alina, that's a great idea, but what's going through your head at that point? Anybody want to jump in?
The yeah part of that sentence is gone.
Is gone, right?
Yeah.
Alina is going, uh-huh. And here comes the big but, right? Because anything that I said before the but, you've ignored now. You've forgotten it. Now you're waiting for the other shoe to fall. And you're going, she's going to blow up and you're not open to listening to what I'm going to say. So from the world of improv, we have a technique called yes and I'm not saying you go yes and, because that will feel very artificial and fake. Instead of that, the idea is to build on what somebody has given you, not shut it down, but help make it better. So how do you do that? You go, Alina, that's a great idea. And what if we could add this on top? And how about if we could do that? Not, yes, and I believe my idea is better. That's as bad as yes, but, right? So how do you take an idea and you're going, oh, that idea is not going to work in this group. Okay, what is that thing in that idea that we just heard that is good? You pull that out and you build on top of that. So yes, and build that muscle for yourself. That becomes important. The other thing I want to call out here as well is when know your people, right? You've got to know the people you're facilitating. You know, those quiet people who, if you call on them in a meeting, they'll just disappear and quit the job and never speak to you again. You got to spend more time with them before the meeting in the ready part. So you walk up to somebody and say, hey, I know you don't really want to talk much in a big group, but I need you to speak up because you have this idea. You are the subject matter expert. You are the whatever. And I need you to speak up. Most introverts will speak if you give them time to prepare. If you call them out on the spot, they will be deer in headlights. So talk to them a day before the meeting, a week before the meeting, and say, so in the meeting, when we get to this part, I'm going to call on you. I usually ask them, so how do you want me to call on you? Do you want me to say, Kate, you want to jump in? Or do you want me to say, I know Kate and I were discussing this last week, and Kate, you want to talk about what we were discussing? Some people want a soft welcome. Some people will just say, just call my name and stop talking to me and I'll talk, right? Find out from those quiet people, how do you need to welcome them into the conversation? Got to do a little more hand-holding there. Every voice heard, psychological safety, you've got to know your people, right? And I just recommend a book for the evaluate part. There is a book by a gentleman named Sam Kaner. It's my favorite book of all time for facilitation. The name of the book is long. Look up Kaner Facilitation in Amazon. There's only one book that'll come up, which will say The Facilitator's Guide to Participatory Decision Making. Kaner is spelled Kaner. Sam Kaner, Facilitation, best book I've ever come across on how do you do this, evaluate or facilitate discussions. Okay, all right. Step 4 is the execute. Now you've figured out what ideas we want to talk about. You've done the three houses, 3 little pigs. You've done the sailboat, whatever you've done. You've talked about everything. You've talked about everybody has ideas. Let's discuss the pros and the cons. Now you got to figure out what are you going to do next. If a meeting is all talk and no action, this is what we call a BMW meeting. If you've been in one of our classes, you may know what that is. It's a bitching, moaning, whining meeting. We need less of those. We need a BMS. You need to vent, give space for people to vent, but make sure there's solutioning happening at the end. Without this execute phase, the actionable items, there's no solutioning. It was just talk, all talk and no action, right? So figure out what is it that you want to work on. If your team comes up with 10 things they'd like to do, don't do 10 things, because what happens when you decide to do 10 things, when you decide you're going to do everything, you end up doing nothing. Exactly, right? Alina is going, yep, you do nothing. So how do you pick the most important thing? Find techniques. Dart voting. You can do like thumb voting, dot voting, lots of different ways to do voting, or making sure that the most important thing is coming right to the top, right? Figure out what's the most important thing. We love smart action items. Don't just say, the team shall work on this, because if the team takes it on, nobody will do it. So we want it to be smart action items, very specific. It has to be measurable. How do we know it's done? How do we know it's gotten taken care of? Is it actually actionable, or is it just go do another meeting? Make sure it's relevant and realistic. You can actually do it, and it's time bound. And part of this is we need an owner for each action item. So if the team decides we're going to do two things, make them smart and make sure there's an owner so that you, the facilitator, can follow up with the owner and say, hey, Kate, you are going to get together with two other people and get this done by Wednesday of next week. It's Thursday. Just following up, it'll give you some meat to follow up on. If it is, Kate will do some stuff by some time, there's nothing for you to follow up on, right? So make sure you are focused on one or two things that you're going to do differently or take action items, and that you have it's a smart action plan, and there is a name or a specific owner, and that owner is not you. You, the facilitator, cannot be the owner of all action items, because, well, then you have just blown the first most important rule of facilitation, which is if you facilitate, you cannot participate. You gotta be neutral. If you are the owner of everything, you are participating, you've just blown rule number 1 of facilitation, right? So that's deciding on the next steps. Execute.
And the final part of run is the close. And this is the one that we find often when we're doing class that people forget about. So oh, an hour's up. Okay, meeting's over. Goodbye. We've not formally closed the meeting. So have we reviewed the agenda? Okay, the goal of our meeting was this. This was the purpose. This was the goal. So we've achieved the goal. Let's make sure that we've got the action items, that they're all written as SMART goals and they're assigned to people. Let's check in on how did we like this meeting? So on a scale of 1 to 5, did you like this format? 5 being, yes, I really liked it. 4, 3, you liked it. If I'm getting 2s or 1s, my team didn't like this format. I need to explore that more. Sometimes we say fist of 5, was this meeting a good use of your time? 5 being, yes, it was a really good use of my time, all the way down to 0. No, it was an utter waste of my time. So we want to formally close the meeting. Maybe it's one of the questions that we'll ask you as we close out this, and maybe you can put it in the chat window now. From all the things we've talked about, from the ready, run, and reflect, particularly the deep dive in the run, what is one thing that stood out with you for you to take away and do differently going forward? So use the chat window. Given everything we've talked about in this short session today, what is one thing you're either going to take away and do yourself, or one thing you're going to share maybe with others on your team or explore more? So pop it in the chat window, and we're going to use this as a way to help us close out this section.
So while we wait for them to do this, let's just go to the next slide, maybe. Wrapping it up. Remember, ready before the meeting. Don't forget that. If you do ready well, run becomes easier. If you do ready and run, reflect becomes easier. So ready before the meeting, run during the meeting, reflect after the meeting. And during run, it's the 5-step process: open, explore, evaluate, execute, and close. So
okay, and then reflect. Remember, after the meeting, make sure you're following up on those action items. And a good reminder in chat, and one of the things that somebody's taking away is making sure that we get everyone to talk within the first 5 minutes of the meeting. So I am excited to hear how that goes going forward. So as we close out this session, and then we'll do any questions and answers, we have a new infographic that we've put together with Ready, Run, and Reflect. And we'll make, when we upload these slides to the Katana website, I'll put a copy of the infographic there so you can pull down the latest infographic on Ready, Run, Reflect. So when you go to the Katana website, you'll find under resources page, you'll find a copy of the slides and that PDF that you can download for you.
So a couple of things, people like taking away BMS acronym, execute those during sessions, the power of breakouts, having people talk in the beginning of the meeting to get them engaged, find ways to get others talking, have a more engaging meeting, work with my introverts, yay. Love the pre-talk and the preparation approach. Read the book. It's a great book. It's my favorite, and the updated infograph. So I think somebody mentioned we'd love to connect with you. So we are Team Katana, www.katana.com. I'm Anu at Katana. Kate is Kate at Katana. We are on LinkedIn. Please connect with us. We are happy to answer questions. If there are any questions at this time, we'll be happy to take them.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was so insightful and a lot of advice, practical advice. And I have a question, what to do when there is no like at all reflection stage? So like not at all. So it's like a meeting and then like nothing. So what can be changed in this?
So Katerina, just to clarify, is this when people are not talking in the meeting or nothing is changing after the meeting?
So after the meeting, there is no follow-up. There is no like, who should do what to do, and then another meeting the same. And so my husband, he tried to change it. He sends follow-up meeting, but nobody cares. And like how can?
So and I have a team. Anu and I've worked with a team in Nashville, and it is a team of leaders who are all great leaders and they're great visionaries, but their doing is not quite so good. So what we started doing, because we had the same thing after every single meeting, we were then repeating the same thing at the next meeting. So we started having a visibility, so that when we left the meeting, all of the action items went in, we were using Trello, went into a Trello board. So there was complete visibility. So when I was sending a follow-up saying, hey, remember to do your event, remember to do your action items, I could do a screenshot of the Trello board and say, these are the items that are done. These are the ones that we've not done yet. So can you go into Trello and update? And we did something similar with a client we were training, where throughout the 3-day workshop, they came up with all of their SMART goals. So we decided, okay, which of these are short term that we're going to do in the next 30 days? Which of these are medium term we're going to do in the next 30 to 90 days? And which of these are long term we're going to do in 90 days plus? And because it was lots of different teams were doing the workshops, we had the Scrum Masters get together every month and hold all of the teams accountable for which items they had got done. So it's about visibility and accountability so that people realize things do change. It's one of the main criticisms we get from retrospectives is, well, we came up with this thing, but nothing changed. Well, as Scrum Masters or facilitators, we've got to hold people accountable to do what they said they were going to do.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
So any other questions?
Really, Helen? No question?
Kapil here. Do we have any data on effect of ineffective meetings on the productivity of the company? Not just productivity of the meeting, but the productivity of the company.
There's
think
data
that-
out there, and I can't remember the exact data at the moment, but it's something around 78% of meetings are not productive. And then when you add up that for organizations, we're talking about billions of dollars a year in wasted meetings. I had a CIO a couple of years ago, and they were doing a review at the end of each sprint. So the teams were getting together. They were doing a joint review. There were multiple teams working in one program, and they got everyone together, and the CIO added up the amount of people in the room, the salaries that were in the room, how long they were in the room for, and it was a colossal waste of money for something that the teams could have seen in another way. So he basically said, you know what? On a Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, come down to the floor, the team area. That's where we're going to do the review. We're not scheduling this giant meeting that has 50 people in it. So, so thank you, Dave. Put a number there. So Business Insider says 37 billion is wasted annually in the US.
I just read an article from Forbes, Dave, that was very similar, and it was like $42 billion annually in the US, and globally we are over $100 billion. If you include multinational companies, you're over $100 billion of wasted money that we spend on meetings that are not required or are ineffective. Think about your own meetings, right? I've challenged the people I coach to say, look at all your meetings, look at every meeting you attend in a day. When you're in the meeting, how often are you focused on the meeting? How often are you doing this? Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. And you're like, you're so not paying attention. You're typing and you're doing email or phone or text or something, right? Think about that. One of the things we often talk about is if you find yourself in a meeting that is completely ineffective, you're not adding value to it, and the meeting is not adding value to you, walk away, right? Use what we call law of mobility, right? Make yourself mobile, all ass. But don't just, if it's a Zoom thing, don't just hang up and get away. Tell the facilitator, hey, Kate, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here in this meeting, so I'm going to just exit. If you need me, I'm available because I'm booked for this hour with you anyway, but I don't think I'm adding any value to this, apart from being a face on Zoom, right? So find ways to, if you're attending a meeting that's ineffective, teach the facilitator why it was ineffective for you. Because a lot of facilitators don't know that they invite people as a CYA, right? Let me invite all of these people to just do a CYA. So tell them, I don't really need to be in this meeting. Or, hey, you know what? You've invited both Kate and me. I don't think you need the both of us. One of us will show up there. So you don't need the whole team to attend some meeting where you're going to get one piece of information. One of you go and bring back that information to the team, right?
Anu, it's Helen. I do have
Of course it
something.
is. Of course you do.
All right. So you've done your job as a facilitator, right? You've designed the meeting. You know who you want there, what needs to be done, making sure that the right people to get that action done are in the meeting, decision makers specifically, and a decision needs to be made. We're at the point in the meeting, a decision needs to be made. The decision maker does not make a decision. Instead, they say, oh, seems like, we need to have some other discussions. I need to speak with this person. Oh, a little bit more discussions here before I can make that decision, right? And then it's round and round and round we go. And the purpose and outcome of that meeting is never accomplished because I can't, even if that is an action item, that person, and you hold them accountable to that, we get in the meeting and it's the same thing. Yeah, I need a couple more. It's pulling the trigger on making a decision, and for a team that is really looking for some direction, right? Like for directives, they want that, and we can't get it.
So a few things come to mind as you were talking about this. One, why is that decision maker not willing to make decisions? Right? Is there lack of psychological safety for that person? Think about that, right? Maybe they're not the authority. Maybe you should have had some other people in the meeting. If you are getting to a point where you've talked about everything and no decisions are made, stop the meeting right then and say, all right, Helen, you said you need to talk to Jeannie and Dave before you make a meeting. I'll tell you what, everyone else, why don't you all hang up? Jeannie, Dave, can you please stay? Let's talk about what we need to talk about. A lot of times they are going to say, oh, let's talk about it next week. No, let's do it now. I will facilitate the conversation for you. They may struggle to make a decision because they don't know how to move towards that decision. Maybe you need to bring in a decision-making framework. Maybe you need to teach them some things. So think about, why are they now making a decision? 9 out of 10 times, it's not because they don't want to. It's because something is stopping them. Right?
I like that. I have never thought about that. Asking
Yeah.
some people to
Yeah.
to get off.
Yeah.
and
And just say,
And
you know what,
Jeannie's also
Helen,
with SCORE, so
okay.
it's
we
throughout.
deal with the same thing, yeah.
That's right.
I figured that Helen
Yeah,
said
and I've
so.
never thought about that, to just
Yeah.
have people drop off and be like, okay, what do we need to do?
What do we need to do?
Yeah.
And and if you tell me on the call, Jeannie, oh, I really, really need Jack on the call. Okay, you stay. I'm gonna call Jack and say, hey, Jack, you got 5 minutes, buddy? We really need you to step into this meeting. 5 minutes. Because once you get the right people in the room, you really don't need you don't need 5 hours to make a decision. You say, here's the
Right.
data. We need to make a decision. It's A or B. What do you want to do?
Right. I mean, it's so needed to keep the sprint going and to keep the people that need to do the work, and that's what happens.
Absolutely. Right.
And
So-
along that line, I mean, I'll say, like, what if you have 2 strong personalities and they both have a different idea? And so sometimes I'll have team members in there, and one strong personality will say use 5%, and another strong person saying 7%, and then I'm like, the team is just paralyzed. And so do you kind of do the same kind of thing, as be like, have some people step out? And
So for there, it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to always have those 2 people be the ones who talk, then you can have the others step out, but I would not want that. What I would do is I'd say, okay, so Helen says 5 and Jeannie says 7. Great. So what I'm going to ask everyone else to do, I'm going to put up this anonymous poll. Tell me what you want to pick, 5 or 7. So it's not Jeannie or Helen they're picking the 5 or 7, and they're doing it anonymously. So neither one of you is going, who said 5? And, Alina, did you say 7? It's not
okay,
that,
yeah,
right? Get the 2
get the answer.
really loud voices, more thoughts on their ideas. You may think your idea is brilliant, but the entire team liked Helen's idea, and you go, oh, okay. Then you start seeing some merit. And then if there are 2 really strong voices that go butting heads, there are a lot of conflict resolution techniques you can bring in, right? One of my favorite techniques of all times is, if you say 5 and Helen says 7 and you're stuck, you're unwilling to move, I'm going to go, okay, we're going to do a 5-minute debate where Helen's going to defend 5 and Jeannie's going to defend 7, as if this was your own idea. So walk a mile in the other person's shoe. And when you do that and you hear yourself say, this is why 5 is good, and you go, actually 5 is not that bad. Your brain, the minute your brain hears your own voice talking, it starts going, that's interesting, because it's hearing your voice and not the other person's voice. So lots of ideas, lots of facilitation techniques to jump in and bring people together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good questions. See, I knew Helen couldn't not ask them.
We have time for one more. This can
You
go.
bet.
Anu and
You
Kate,
bet.
can you all just tell me about, with all the customers and clients that you've worked with, any particular just real bad apple with meetings that you're able to kind of turn around? Like, can you kind of give me
Oh,
the nightmare like situation, like from
how
like a
much
story?
time do we have?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk briefly about the case
Sure.
study one, and it was the client I was talking about at the end of last year, where the company had reached the point where there were so many meetings on their calendars, and nothing was ever decided at the meetings, that all the meetings were a waste of time. So there was everyone would get on the meeting, and it would be a sort of collective groan because, well, what are we here for? Oh, well, if we're doing that, we don't have the right people. So we had, in that environment, we were working with the executive assistant, and she sat down every Friday with the C-level and went through, okay, all of the meetings for next week. We're going to do ready for all of these meetings. So what is the purpose? What is the goal? What is the agenda? So on a Friday, she was able to combine some of the meetings, make sure all of the meetings had the goal and the agenda, make sure the right people were at the meetings, and then design the meetings around the team. This is where I was talking about having the interactive one where each team went into their own breakout area. That was possible because the right people were in the meeting, and they knew it was in a meeting that they were going to be engaged in. So they came with different expectations. So that is one scenario. Another quick scenario, I knew that the client we were working with in NorCal, too much multitasking going on. Meetings not achieving anything. People are on Skype, Slack, whatever bot you happen to be using. So they decided that all meetings were going to be either a 25-minute meeting instead of a 30-minute meeting, or a 50-minute meeting instead of a 60-minute meeting, because they were going from meeting to meeting to meeting and not getting anything done in between. And because the meetings were more dragged out, people were multitasking. So they decided that they were going to do shorter meetings. No meeting was allowed to be scheduled without an agenda with the who, what, when, where, why, and how, with all of the purpose and everything. If there was a meeting that hit your calendar that didn't have an agenda, you were allowed to decline it. So that by having the agenda and making everything 25 and 50 and limiting the multitasking, it completely turned around the productivity of their meetings. A lot of their meetings that were an hour, they discovered could actually be done in 25 minutes because they weren't waiting for 10 minutes at the start for people to drift in from the other meeting. So
I'll give
those
you
would be the
one
ones
more
that highlight.
example. Yeah, I'll give you another example. I was working with a client in Chicago, and Dave may recognize some bits of this story. The leader of the group we were meeting with, this was the approach this person took. Always come late to a meeting, and always walk in like this and sit in the meeting. This is in person, right? So I can see you. Sit like they go, yeah, that's a great idea. Sorry, wait, what was that? I missed that. Can you go back? So it was so frustrating that I had a bunch of team members come and say, if you're going to invite that person, just let me know when that person shows up. I'll come then and we'll just do whatever. I'm not doing it. So created some rules. If you don't come on time, if you come after the first 5 minutes for, hey, how you doing? If you came after that, you got to read meeting notes after the meeting. Nobody was going to catch you up. And if you missed stuff and you were not able to participate in the decision making, sorry. And by the way, there's a basket by the door. You're going to leave your phone there when you walk into the room. Everybody. This person fought me on this. I'm like, yep, as long as you have your phone in your hand, nobody's going to speak. I could do that because I'm an external person, right? And I could say, what are you going to do? Fire me? Fire me. I'm your facilitator. I'm here to do the hard work. So facilitation, and I had to go coach that person offline and say, listen, you're just not nice in meetings. you're making the meetings a problem. So sometimes it is having those one-on-one conversations, making hard rules, creating working agreements. Those are so important for meetings, especially when you have that one person who disrupts everything. And it's like, come on. I know you're important. I know you think you're important, but so is everybody else in the room. Right? Be respectful of the people in the room. So sometimes it's about having that conversation offline and saying, do you know how dismissive everybody feels when you walk in 10 minutes late? They're also as busy. Oh, but I was talking to the C blah, blah, blah. Okay, I was talking to some other person as important. So respect was missing there. So usually when you have that one disruptor, there is something awry. You got to figure out what that thing is. Yeah. 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 And Dave's now going, which meeting is she talking about?
Well said. Thank you.
You are very welcome. If you have more questions, reach out to us. We are coming up on time. So I want to make sure we end on time. So thank you for being with us with Team Katana. Thank you for listening to us. Katerina, thank you for having us here.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's
so much.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.